Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Friday morning, the 22nd of December. So today we're going to talk about the Summer Wells case, and I'm going to respond to a couple of videos by someone called Ryan Finds Truth. I applaud anybody who is prepared to get off their backside and actually go and search for a missing person in their area. So in that regard, I applaud Ryan for doing what he's doing. He's done a bunch of videos searching for Summer Wells, going to different locations. And yes, it's like looking for a needle in 1,000 haystacks. But at least he's trying. That's all good. I did promise myself that I wasn't going to mention his channel at all. The reason being, he seemed to have teamed up with a certain psychic. Listen, I know this is going to potentially lose me subscribers, but there are certain psychics that I would not trust with 2 million barge poles tied together. Would not trust them. Would not touch them with all of those barge poles. No. I'm not saying that certain people in this world don't have gifts. I've had strange experiences myself that I can't explain. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's certain people. All right. Enough said. However, last couple of videos, he's been interesting. He's been back to Laurel Run Park. You know, the place where Fred Hill said Summer's body might be found because of Roy Cotton Simpson. You know all that from a few months back, if you were following the case. But he's also been to Fields Road. Where's Fields Road, I hear you say? Well, if you've been following the case as long as I have, you will know where Fields Road is. But let's go to Fields Road. Ooh, right down there. So it's about, I don't know, 2 miles, not quite. Maybe 1.5 miles. Hold on, let's measure it. So rough and ready measure. 1.35 miles as the crow flies, but obviously we're not crows. We do know that Fields Road has been a place of interest for search teams. When the law enforcement led search teams have been back to the area, November/December 2021 and then February 2022. And they've had the helicopter out. They go round and round and round and round and round and round this area. And then in November and February, they did Fields Road. If you look at the pictures that are on the TBI Newsroom, you can pick out certain locations. So they're interested, law enforcement are interested in this area. I've signposted 158 for a reason, which I'll get to in a second. So there's Fields Road. Now you can get to Fields Road through the woods very quickly. Okay, so why is this important for Ryan? Well, Ryan went there. He took an interest in 158 Fields Road. According to Ryan, doing a little bit of research, he found that 158 and 162 were owned by George Wesley Bernard and Polly Bernard, except they transferred ownership in September 2021. Not quite true. Now, I don't know whether I've made a video about this or not, or whether I just planned to and then decided that I wasn't going to do it because people's financial dealings are none of my business. They're none of your business either. But we're here now, aren't we? So I don't remember whether I've made a video on this before, but this is Tennessee Tax Property Records, 158 Fields Road. It consists of a shed and a pole barn and 4.5 acres of land. Didn't sell it. They put it in trust. That's what that means, revocable trust. They've set up a trust. Nothing wrong with that, right? Members of my family have done this. The September of 2021, there was 2 affidavits of heirship signed. Affidavits of heirship. Okay, so Tennessee Affidavit of Heirship provides conclusive evidence of the deceased person's family history and their heirs. And we know they're all dead interested in family history. But that doesn't mean that George, Wesley Bernard and Polly Bernard died. No, because you can do this when you're alive. Okay. Title companies accept a Tennessee Affidavit of Heirship during the process of transferring real estate, so transferring it from their direct ownership into a trust. We have a warranty deed. So we talked about warranty deeds lots when I discussed Don Wells' ownership of 110 Ben Hill Road. So they signed a warranty deed. They swore affidavits of heirship. I think that is a clerical thing. I think maybe there was a mistake in one of these, so they signed a clerical. I'm not sure what that means. Somebody who is like a property lawyer could tell me, right? But they basically, right, what they did is they put the 2 properties on Fields Road into trust. Nothing wrong with that. Now, Polly still owns, or at least part owns, 125 Ben Hill Road, because that's a family's property, it's been passed down. And then George, Wesley and Polly both own a property on Lone Star Road in Sullivan County, in which they live. But this property, or 2 properties on Fields Road, which is also Chimney Top Revocable Trust, and this is agricultural land, multiple parcels. We're kind of moving this around. 2020, quitclaim deed. 2022, correction, I think. And then 2022, quitclaim deed. And then that's 140 acres. And just to be clear, what a revocable trust is. Revocable living trust is a trust agreement that is amendable and revocable during one's lifetime. The creators of the trust can be both the creator and the sole trustee. Alternate trustees can be appointed. So I think the address in Fort Lauderdale is the appointed trustee. That's the way I understand it. Revocable living trusts have a few key benefits like avoiding probate, privacy protection and protection in the case of incapacitation. However, revocable living trusts can be expensive, don't have direct tax benefits and don't protect against creditors. So that's that. Not that I want to pry into George, Wesley and Polly's financial dealings. I don't care. But just to be very clear here. However, what I really want to talk about is Ryan's latest video, which I've already watched.
Hey everyone.
But I want to go through this. It's only 5 minutes. Hope Ryan doesn't mind. This is fair use. I'm going to go through it. Because Ryan's not been on the case that long. So needs to learn some stuff. Alright, let's go. Turn my volume up here. Right, volume's up.
I'm going to jump right into it here. This is a quick update on what I've been working on. Ever since Jen and I identified one of the Bernard family's old properties as an area we would like to get access to explore, I've been working on making
current properties in trust.
Sure that Andy is someone that it's safe to meet with and get access to these properties. As part of that work, I first started talking with Andy Bernard and reviewed a lot of the same topics that all of you saw him talk about in previous YouTube panels.
So he must be aware then that the family still own these properties. If he's talking to Andy to get access to the properties, he must be aware that Andy still has access and to those properties because the family still owns them. Okay.
Different videos. He repeated the same answers to me before I finally asked the question I really wanted to ask, and that was if he knew why his parents had sold the property only 3 months after Summerwell's disappearance. Andy said that his parents sold the land because Andy needed money to restart his life after following his breakup during that time.
They didn't sell it. Put it in trust. It's in a revocable trust. Would they really sell 4.5 acres for 14k? Could they have got a whole lot more money if they put it on the open market? They didn't sell it. If Andy needed money after his breakup, why was he on YouTube soliciting donations for a trailer? I mean, maybe his parents did give him some money. Maybe they did. I don't know. In my opinion, that doesn't sound true to me.
So that explains why the land was sold shortly after Summer's disappearance. So my next step was to try and check that Andrew actually has an alibi during the critical time in question from 3 p.m. through 6:30 or 7. A number of YouTubers have stated in the past that Andrew has been seen on security cameras at work, but as far as I could tell, no one could confirm the exact specific times he was seen on camera. I don't think...
Geordie Sue, his ex, she runs hot and cold with Andy. You know, if she's mad with him, she says that he was giving drugs to sedate the girls so that they could be touched at 110. And then in other breaths, she defends him and slates anybody who has anything bad to say about him. She runs proper hot and cold. But in this regard, she said he was at work. It's Geordie Sue. It's Geordie Sue who's put that out there. And I'm not saying it's not true, but that's who's put that out there.
Anyone out there has yet confirmed without a doubt that he was at work for the entire day.
Well, people have rung up his workplace and spoken to people. Now, I can't remember who, or else I'd direct you to it. I've seen at least one person put a phone call out speaking to someone at Andy's work, and they said yes, he was there. But have we seen photographic evidence of Andy at work? No. And Ryan hasn't got that either.
So today I went down to Hayworth Tire and Auto Service over in Kingsport, Tennessee, and spoke to Brian Hayworth, the owner. It was pretty busy there today, which appears to be pretty much standard for how the workday goes there. So I waited there until closing to talk with Brian. I spoke with Brian for about 30 to 40 minutes and asked him if he recalled whether or not Andrew was at work on that day on June 15th, 2021. He said Andy arrived late that day, which was typical for him, and that Andy was there all day and finished up until closing time around 6 p.m. He said sometime...
Okay, so I'd like to see a photograph of the surveillance video. That's all.
Times after work, Andrew would even sit in his car for a while using his phone, so it's possible he may have actually left later than 6 p.m. He confirmed that
he did, according to Geordie Sue. So, according to Geordie Sue, the text at 6:09 or thereabouts was to say that he was leaving.
He remembered all of this because it's exactly what he told the police when they asked him in 2021. He also said that he provided the security camera footage to them as well.
And if that's true, great. If the police can confirm that Andy was at work, great. That's all we need to know. But we've only got hearsay from Geordie Sue that the police have got that, and now his boss. And the phone calls that people have made to his workplace to say, yes, he was there that day. But it is hearsay. Could people be covering up for Andy? Yes. But if the cops do actually have surveillance video of Andy at work during the afternoon and throughout the entire afternoon, then of 15th of June 2021, then Andy's in the clear.
If Andy could have slipped away at any point during the day to go to Ben Hill and then return back at work later. He said he or his son would have noticed that, and if he had driven the 26 minutes or so home and back, he would have been gone for a minimum of an hour, and that certainly would have been noticed. I believe Brian Hayworth is about as reliable a source as you could ask for on this matter, so I do believe...
I don't believe anybody in this case. So... I've learned not to believe anybody in this case unless I see the actual proof myself. But if he's given that to the police and the police have cleared Andy, then he's in the clear.
that Andy has an alibi of being at work all day until at least after 6 p.m. on June 15th. The only way Andrew Bernard could have had any involvement in this disappearance is if he was able to pull something off after returning from work around 6:30 p.m. at the earliest. After speaking with Brian, I realized there was...
Yeah, there's always that. He might not have taken Summer, but he might be still involved. There's always that, because everybody is still a suspect, according to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
Still a loose end. There is still a statement made by Fred Hill that he saw Andrew on Ben Hill Road that day around 3:15 p.m. I wanted to give Fred a chance to respond to this new information and possibly change the day that he could have seen Andy on that road. So I reached out to Ziggy to see if there's any way we could possibly speak to Fred again. Ziggy was able to get Fred to call me tonight, and I spoke to Fred on the phone. When I told Fred that I confirmed Andrew has an alibi, being at work all day until 6 p.m., Fred insisted that he had seen Andy on Ben Hill Road that day. He also stated that law enforcement had shown him trail cam footage showing Andy on Ben Hill Road that day, as well as trail cam footage showing other people, including Candace. When I asked him why law enforcement would show him those photos, he said it was because they were asking him to confirm to them who the people in the photos were. So,
okay. Would law enforcement ask Fred, when Fred's also a suspect because he's a neighbour and everybody close to Summer in proximity is a suspect, would they ask Fred to confirm the identities of certain people? They might do to get him talking, right? To get him to trust them. Fred's also said that they got him to wear a wire on Dawn, which may be true, I don't know. Fred said multiple times that he swears down that Fred was at Ben Hill Road that day. And I've said, is it possible that Fred got the day wrong? Because Andy said he came home early the day before. Is it possible that Fred has mixed his days up? Yes, it is. But if it's true that Andy was seen on Ben Hill on trail camera footage on the 15th of June 2021, why has Andy not been interrogated by the cops to within an inch of his life? Because how can he be on surveillance video that his work gave to the police and also on trail camera footage at the very same time? How is that even possible? It's not, is it?
So those are the current facts as I know them. Anyone can ask Brian Hayworth to confirm. I didn't want to record the conversation because conversations go a lot better with people around here if you aren't shoving a camera in their face.
Well, you put the recorder in your pocket. That's what you do. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not saying Fred's a liar. I'm saying he could be mistaken, as I've said numerous times, made numerous videos, including that information, that I think Fred could be mistaken. But it's also possible that he's absolutely right. Also possible. And somehow his workplace have pulled off a swift one to fool the police. Now, why would they? Why would they put their neck out like that to protect Andy? It's all very messy, isn't it? All very messy. So, yeah, Ryan, keep looking. Keep looking. If I wasn't 4,000 miles away, you know, at the other side of a really big pond, I'd be looking. You better believe I'd be looking. But because I'm 4,000 miles away at the other side of a very big pond, there's very little else I can do other than keep exploring the facts as we know them. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.